Hi everyone, it's Leanne from the Public Library here with another cooking video for you guys. So today we're going to be making one of my favorite easy recipes, which is oven chicken and rice. So let's get started. So here's the ingredients that we're going to be using today. First of all, we're going to be needing 2 chicken breasts. I just got these from Safeway. We're also going to need 2 onions, vegetable oil, garlic. The recipe calls for garlic cloves, but I always use diced garlic in a jar because it's cheaper. 2 celery stalks, rice. The recipe says that you're supposed to use white long grain rice. However, I usually use brown rice in everything I make, so I'm using Uncle Ben's 20-minute brown rice. You also want to use chicken broth or bouillon. I'm using Compliments Balanced no salt added chicken broth today. We're using some thyme and some parsley. And lastly, we're going to be using 2 tomatoes. So first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven, and then you're going to want to chop and prepare your ingredients. We're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. To make this dish, you also need to use an oven-safe dish. So I'm going to use my blue Cuisinart pan, again from the chili video. Before we put our chicken in the oven, we have to saute and cook the ingredients together first. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to heat about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil over our pan on medium-high heat. So I'm just measuring that out right now. So as that's heating up, that we want to add our 2 onions, and we're going to kind of saute them until they get a little bit soft. The recipe also calls for us to add 2 garlic cloves. When I use diced garlic, I just kind of take a normal big spoon and I put about 2 spoonfuls in. Sometimes a little bit more because I really love how garlic tastes. So let's put 3. We're also going to add our celery. And we're going to saute it in the pan for about 3 minutes. While this is starting to saute, I'm going to get my rice ready. So now our onions are starting to soften, and we're going to add 1 cup of rice. And just stir it in, making sure that the rice all of the rice grains are kind of coated in the oil we added into the pan. If you feel like you need to add a little bit more oil, go ahead, but you don't want to add too much or else it might start to make things soggy. After our rice grains are coated, we're going to add 2½ cups of our chicken broth, which is almost an entire container. And then we're just going to take that, stir it. So with recipes, a lot of times I don't use spices like parsley or thyme too often, so if you buy these dried spices, I like using the Lighthouse ones that you can find at most major grocery stores. It can save you a lot of money in the long run. So next, we're going to add ½ teaspoon of our dried thyme and our dried parsley. Don't worry about being super precise with it. A little bit more spice is always better than not enough. And now, as we're adding these ingredients, we want to bring our mixture to a boil. We're also supposed to add salt and pepper to taste. I really enjoy the taste of pepper and having strong spices in my food, so I add a little bit more. I just kind of eyeball it. This recipe is actually very mildly flavored, so if you make it once, feel free to experiment and add spices that you enjoy and other things to try and customize the taste to something you like. So our mixture is starting to boil. When it starts to boil, we're going to grab that chicken that we cut up and just pour it in there. Like so. we're just gonna stir it up a little bit and make sure that things are kind of evenly distributed. Now the last thing we're gonna do before we put this in the oven is we're gonna add the diced tomatoes. After we have everything stirred together and hot and boiling, we're just gonna kind of stir it and make sure that the mixture is evenly distributed. We're gonna turn the heat off on our stove. We're gonna cover the pan with a lid, and we're gonna stick it in the oven for about 25 minutes until most of the liquid is absorbed and the chicken and other ingredients are tender. All right, so there you have it. Our chicken and robin rice is done. This recipe is really easy to make. You can just pretty much stick it in the oven and forget about it after 5 minutes of cooking. And it's healthy, and it keeps really well in the fridge, and you can freeze it for a long time as well. I hope you enjoyed this cooking video, and if you want to see more of the library's fantastic virtual programs, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube page. I hope you guys have a great day and stay safe.